Hi, my name is Doreen, and I just wanted to tell you my story with having lupus for 30 years. When I first got diagnosed, I had ITP at age 17, and I remember sitting in the doctor's office, and he was like, "Do you know what lupus is?" And I'm like, "No, never heard of it." And he's like, "Well, you can't go to your prom, which is this weekend, and there's a good chance you could be dead in 10 years." And I was like, well, I'm going to my prom, and I don't know about the dead in 10 years, but that's a long way away. Because at 17, when you hear 10 years, that's like eons. Because I remember dancing to the song Party Like It's 1999, and that seems like it was going to be forever. Like it would take forever to get here. So I went to my prom. It was amazing, and life went on, right? So he put me on steroids, which my face ballooned out. Senior pictures, I looked like a chipmunk. My face was so fat from the steroids. So that didn't work, and I had to have my spleen out. That was the first surgery. So then, a few years go on, nothing seemed to happen. I seemed to be okay. And then at age 20, I was living with my, at the time, fiance, and the next thing I knew, I'm waking up in a hospital. They tell me that I had a bunch of seizures, which I had never had before, that I was in a coma, and that my mom told me that they asked her to pull the plug because telling her I'd be brain dead, paralyzed, both. They told my fiance at the time that he should go home because I probably wouldn't even remember who he was. Thank God my mom didn't pull the plug because I woke up and I was not brain dead. I was not paralyzed. And my fiance at the time, I remembered who he was right away. I asked him for him and my mom when I woke up. So that showed me that doctors do not know everything. They are human too. So it's a very difficult job, especially with a disease that systemic lupus can touch every part of your body. The next thing that happened, I was 21, 22, 7 months pregnant, and I had a blue thumb, and I sat in the emergency room for 8 hours. I remember my mom and I made a list of all the things that you can do while waiting for a doctor and to be seen. And then when I finally saw the doctor, he said, "You sat here for that long?" And I'm like, 7 months pregnant and a blue thumb. Yeah, I want to know what the heck's going on. So then he said to me, "Ever hear of lupus?" I'm like, "Oh God, heard this before." And I said, "Yeah, I have heard of it." And he's like, "Well, I want you to see this doctor." So they put me immediately in the hospital the next day, and I spent a week in the hospital. My thumb didn't get any better, so then they sent me to Boston, Brigham and Women's, and then I spent another week in the hospital. And then they were telling me I had to have my baby down in Boston. My first thought is, great, he's going to be born on the highway. Luckily, I had a beautiful baby boy who is now 25 years old. Can't believe how fast time flies. So over the years, I have had surgeries. My lupus has been kind of ebbed and flow, but my late 20s were probably the roughest, and I think it's because the doctors had me on tons of medications. It felt like they were giving me medications to help with the side effects of other medications, and that's when I decided I'm not going to take these medications anymore. The only one I stayed on was a seizure medicine because I knew I had to keep my seizures in check. If I were to give any advice for anyone who's newly diagnosed with lupus, listen to your body. You know your body best because you've been with it for your entire life, and you know when something's different from the normal day-to-day. And I still suffer from fatigue. I still will have an occasional seizure. It's usually when the pharmacy screws up my med. Yes, that does happen. Check your medications. Sometimes if you take generic, and this is just for me personally, this is me only, I'm only speaking for me, but when manufacturers change on generics, that affects me. because of the makeup. Again, just speaking for me. That's only me. That will happen to me personally. So again, I'm not giving any advice when it comes to medical care. I'm just telling you what has happened to me over the last 30 years. Listen to your body. Be an advocate for yourself. Don't let anybody push you around. If you feel in your gut that something needs to be taken care of, take care of it. Don't let anybody push you around because it's your life and you matter. So my favorite saying is, I have lupus, but I don't let it have me. Again, my name's Doreen, and I've had lupus for 30 years, but I don't feel a day over 30. So, but I'm 47. So have a great day, and if you feel like reaching out to me and talking about it, feel free to. Have a great night, and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.